Welcome to Motivational Humanity. You are not alone.
You don't need more coffee. You don't need another productivity hack. You need rest, the kind that heals, not just helps you survive. For so many of us, sleep has become a badge of weakness. But what if I told you that real strength, the kind that rebuilds your spirit, begins the moment you let yourself rest? A few years ago, I found myself sitting in my car outside my own house, exhausted, numb, and strangely afraid to go inside. I had just finished giving a talk on courage and vulnerability to a room full of people. But in that moment, I felt like a fraud, because while I was teaching others to live wholeheartedly, I hadn't slept properly in weeks. I was running on caffeine, anxiety, and sheer willpower. I told myself I was fine. But the truth, I was burning out. That night, I finally admitted to myself that I wasn't tired. I was empty. I had confused exhaustion with purpose. And I had built my worth on how much I could carry, not how well I could rest. Somewhere along the way, we started believing that being tired is proof of dedication. We tell ourselves stories like, if I'm exhausted, it means I'm working hard enough. Or, I can't rest until everything is done. We equate exhaustion with importance, as if the number of sleepless nights somehow measures our worth. But this is a lie that the world has taught us, and one we repeat over and over without realizing the cost. Because here's the truth: when we run ourselves ragged, when we push past the limits of our own bodies and minds, we aren't proving our dedication. We're eroding our capacity to live fully. We're sacrificing the very thing that makes us human, the ability to feel, to connect, to show up as our whole selves. Rest isn't laziness. It's not weakness. It's an act of respect. Respect for your body, your mind, and your spirit. Respect for your own story, your own life, and the people who love you. When you allow yourself to rest, you're not stepping away from your responsibilities. You're stepping toward a life that you can actually live with presence and energy. Sleep, deep rest, and quiet moments are not rewards to earn after proving your worth. They are part of what it means to be fully alive. They are acts of self-respect, boundary setting, and courage. And here's the paradox: the more you rest, the more productive, creative, and compassionate you become. Your mind sharpens, your emotions stabilize, your body regenerates. You are no longer running on empty. You are fueled by something far greater than caffeine or adrenaline. Rest is the foundation of strength. It allows you to show up for your life, not as a version of yourself that is depleted and frantic, but as someone grounded, awake, and fully capable of love and connection. So the next time you hear that little voice telling you, you can't rest yet, there's too much to do, I want you to pause and recognize it for what it is: fear masquerading as duty. Because the truth is, your worth does not come from how much you do. Your worth comes from who you are, and resting is the most radical acknowledgement of that truth. True recovery, the kind that restores your body, your mind, and your soul, is one of the most courageous acts you can commit to. Because recovery asks us to slow down in a world that prizes speed. It asks us to be still when everything inside screams that we should keep moving. It asks us to confront the silence and face the truth that, sometimes, we are not okay, and that's perfectly human. Many of us are terrified of stillness. We distract ourselves with business, scrolling through our phones, checking off lists, convincing ourselves that if we stay productive, we can avoid the uncomfortable feelings of exhaustion, grief, or emptiness. But here's the thing: recovery doesn't happen in the rush. It happens in the pauses. It happens in the moments when we finally allow ourselves to exhale. It happens when we stop performing and start being. When we let ourselves rest fully, we are vulnerable. We admit that we are human, that we have limits, that we need care. And vulnerability, as we know, is the birthplace of courage. It's in these quiet, unguarded moments that we reconnect with who we truly are. Our nervous system begins to calm. Our hearts begin to soften. Our minds, for the first time in what feels like forever, can think clearly and creatively. Recovery is not a luxury. It's not indulgence. It's the foundation for every meaningful action, every compassionate word, every connection we have with ourselves and others. When you honor your need for recovery, you are telling yourself, I am worth it. I am worthy of care. I am allowed to heal. And here's the subtle miracle: the more you practice real recovery, the more courageous you become in other areas of your life. Because when you embrace rest, you begin to trust yourself. You begin to trust your limits. You begin to understand that slowing down is not surrendering. It is showing up stronger, clearer, and more present than ever before. Recovery is the quiet rebellion against a world that profits from our exhaustion. It's the sacred act of saying, I refuse to burn out. I refuse to numb myself with business. I will honor my need for rest, and in doing so, I will honor my life. Choosing radical self-care, choosing to rest without guilt, is one of the most rebellious and powerful acts you can commit to in a world that constantly tells you to do more, achieve more, and never stop. The culture around us glorifies exhaustion, wears business like a badge of honor, and whispers that slowing down is a sign of weakness. But here's the truth. Choosing rest is not weakness. It is a declaration of your worth. It is a refusal to let the world define your value by how much you can carry or how busy you appear. When you embrace radical self-care, you are reclaiming your life. You are reclaiming your time, your energy, and your emotional bandwidth. You are saying, I will no longer apologize for taking care of myself. I will no longer sacrifice my well-being for the illusion of productivity. And when you do that, something extraordinary happens. You start to show up differently in every area of your life. You start to lead differently, not from exhaustion or obligation, but from presence, clarity, and courage. Radical self-care is not about indulgence. It's not about fleeting pampering or moments of luxury. It's about setting boundaries that protect your energy. It's about saying no to things that drain you so that you can say yes to the people, practices, and experiences that nourish you. It's about trusting yourself enough to know that caring for yourself is essential, not optional. For women, especially those over 45, this act of rebellion is transformative. Society often tells us that our worth is tied to our productivity, our caretaking, or our appearance. But when we choose rest and recovery as non-negotiable parts of our lives, we rewrite that story. We reclaim our dignity, our voice, and our power. We stop apologizing for needing time, for needing space, for needing to breathe. And in that space, our creativity blooms, our relationships deepen, and our courage expands. Radical self-care teaches us that our value is inherent, not earned. It reminds us that we are whole and complete, even when we pause, even when we slow down. It is the ultimate act of love for ourselves, and the most profound gift we can give to the world. Because when we care for ourselves fully, we show up for others fully. When we rest, we rise. And when we rise, we inspire others to rise with us. So tonight, when you close your eyes, don't call it going to bed. Call it what it really is, coming home to yourself. Let the world spin for a while. Let the emails wait. Let your body soften into the truth that you don't need to earn rest. Because rest isn't just how we heal, it's how we rise. If this message speaks to your heart, don't just listen, live it. Start by giving yourself permission to rest today. And if you're walking this journey of healing and courage with me, subscribe to Motivational Humanity, where we honor your emotional wellness, your worth, and your right to rest. You belong here.